Good morning, students. In the series of lectures in the subject VLSI technology, it is the second lecture. Okay. So, in the first lecture, we discussed introduction to IC technology, and in that lecture, we basically discussed one thing that the process of IC fabrication. The first step was that to get a single crystal silicon ingot. Okay, so what is that single crystal silicon? Okay, so here in this lecture we will discuss crystal structures. Okay, so this lecture is very important in order to understand directions and planes in the crystals. Okay, so various things in VLSI technology or the fabrication steps. Okay, so these terms will come, okay, time to time, so you need to understand these terms. Okay, so this lecture will help you in that case. Okay, so let's just start this lecture. So first of all, the types of solids depending upon the placement of atoms, okay, are crystalline solids, amorphous solids, and polycrystalline solids. Okay, so let us consider the crystalline solids. So crystalline solids are nothing but those solids in which atoms making up the crystals are arranged in periodic fashion. So as you can see here, that as atoms are arranged in periodic fashion. Okay, so there is some periodicity. Okay, what are amorphous solids? So amorphous solids are those solids in which there is no periodicity at all. So you can easily see that there is no periodicity here. What are polycrystalline solids? So polycrystalline solids are basically uh, a bag, is like a bag in which different colors of marbles are there. Okay, so you can imagine it. Polycrystalline solid is nothing but the combination of many small single crystal materials. This is one single crystal material. This is another single crystal material. This is another single crystal material. This is another single crystal material. So polycrystalline material solids consists of so many single crystal materials. Okay. So these are the types of solids we discussed. Okay. Now, periodicity in a crystal in defined in terms of array of points, symmetric array of points, okay, that is called lattice. So here in this example, you can see that this is a rhombic lattice. So here you can see that these all points, okay, these all points are nothing but basically lattice points. These are called lattice points, okay. So this arrangement, this atom and these all lattice points, okay, this arrangement is called lattice. Okay, so lattice contains a volume of cell that represent entire lattice repeated throughout the crystal. Okay, so you can see that this is a rhombic lattice. Now the smallest cell in this lattice is called a primitive cell. Called a primitive cell. Okay, so here you can see that uh, if you define vectors A, B, and C, these are called primitive vectors. So A, B, this is a two-dimensional structure. That's why we are denoting only A and B. Okay. So if I define a vector R such that that is equal to PA plus QB plus RC, then this vector will denote to another point, that is O dash. Okay. So this primitive cell, okay, is basically again the same primitive cell will have here. Okay, so this primitive cells are, this is the vector representation of a lattice. Okay, so number of atoms belonging to a particular primitive cell is always 1. Okay, effective number of lattice points belonging to a primitive cell is always 1. So effective number of lattice points. What are the effective number of lattice points belonging to a primitive cell is always 1. So you can see that number of lattice points belonging to a particular primitive cell is always 1. That you this you should remember. Okay, number of lattice points to a primitive cell is always 1. Okay, so primitive cell is the smallest unit cell of the lattice. Okay, now what comes the unit cell? Unit cell is the smallest portion of crystal lattice that shows the three-dimensional pattern of entire crystal. So here you can see that this is a crystal. Here you can see that this is the crystal in which the smallest unit here you can see this is the unit cell. Okay, if the unit cell is repeated continuously, it will form the entire crystal. Okay, so unit cell have more than one lattice points. Okay, so we can define the directions and plane for that unit cell. Okay, so let us consider these are the planes: x plane, y plane, and z plane. And if we place this here, so this is the representation of a unit cell. Okay, now let us consider. So there are basically three cubic lattices. Okay, based upon the unit cells. Okay, so unit cells are nothing but cubic in nature. Okay, they can be another form of that cells, but we will consider here only cubic lattices. Okay, so there are basically three types of unit cells structure for cubic lattice. So first one is your simple cubic unit cell. So simple cubic unit cell contains 8 atoms. Okay, located at each corner of the cube. Here you can see that. Okay, so these atoms are arranged in the cubic lattice like this. Okay, why we have cut this atom here? Because the sharing of this atom is nothing but the your in particular this cubic cell, the sharing of this atom is 1/8, 1/8. So 1/8 portion of this atom is only shared to this particular unit cell. The rest is shared among another unit cell uh, around this. Okay, so that's why we have used this. So nearest neighboring atom distance. So nearest neighboring atom distance, you can easily see here. The nearest neighboring atom distance is nothing but your lattice constant, that is denoted by a small a. So this is your lattice constant, that is denoted by a. So this is your nearest neighboring distance, that is a. So number of atoms per cube. So as I have already tell you that one atom is shared among 8 cubic unit cells. So the share of this atom here for this particular unit cell is 1/8. So 1/8, okay, multiplied by how many atoms are there? 8. So number of atoms per cube in the case of simple cubic unit cell is 1. Okay. Now what is the radius of atom? Radius of atom is nothing but your a by 2. You can see here. Okay. What is packing fraction? Packing fraction is nothing but volume of one atom, divided by volume of the cube. This is known as packing fraction. Okay. So in terms of percentage, we can calculate it in percentage by multiplying by 100. Okay. So this is your packing fraction. So this was a slight introduction of simple cubic unit cell. Okay. Now consider the next one, that is body centered cubic unit cell. This is also called BCC unit cell. Okay. So here atoms are 8 atoms are at the corners of unit cell, plus one atom is also there at the center of the cube. Okay. So you can easily see here, this picture is very much clear here. Okay. Now what is the nearest neighboring distance? So you can see that if I join this atom and this atom diagonally, then it will touch the center of this atom here. Okay. So what is the distance this? Okay. So this distance is nothing but under root a square plus a square plus a square. Okay. So what is the nearest distance between nearest neighboring atom? So the nearest distance would be this only. Okay. So this distance will be what? This distance will be your under root a square plus a square plus a square divided by 2. Is it clear? So that will comes out to be a under root 3 by 2. Okay. Now what is the radius of each atom? It's nothing but a under root 3 by 4. Now how many numbers of atoms are there per cube? So as you can see that there are 8 atoms at the corner and each atom share is 1 upon 8. Additionally here, one atom is also there at the center. It is completely shared in this unit cell. Okay. So how many numbers of atoms per cube are there? That is 2. So in that case, what will be the packing fraction? So packing fraction will be nothing but volume of one atom divided by volume of cube multiplied by number of atoms per cube. Okay. So by using this formula, we can find the packing fraction. Okay. So in terms of percentage, we can easily find it, packing fraction. Okay. Now let's consider the last cubic unit cell, that is FCC unit cell, face centered cubic. Okay. So in case of FCC unit cell, we have 8 atoms at the corners of the cube. Okay. And 6 atoms at the faces of the cube. At the center of faces of the cube, there are 6 atoms. So you can see here that. So what is the share of this corner atom? That is 1 by 8. Now what will be the share of this atom? That you can see here that it is shared between 2 cubic units. So the share of this will be 1 upon 2. So what are the number of atoms per cube? So here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 atoms having a share 1 by 2. So the number of atoms here in that case, there will be 6 into 1 by 2 plus these are 8 atoms and each atom is shared 1 upon 8 among 8 cubic units cells. So the share, the number of atoms per cube will be 4. Okay, so this is 4. Now nearest neighboring distance will nothing but will be a under root 2 by 2. Okay, so means the nearest neighboring distance means this distance. We are talking about this distance. Okay, We are talking about this distance, nearest neighbor distance. Okay. So as this is A, this is also A. So this will be, this complete length will be A under root 2, and the half of it will be A under root 2 by 2. So nearest neighboring distance will be A under root 2 by 2. So what is the radius of atom in that case? Suppose the radius here is R, this is R. So 2R is equal to A under root 2 by 2, and the R will comes out to be A under root 2 by 4. Okay. So how to find packing fraction? Packing fraction we can easily find by using the formula volume of atom into number of atoms per cube divided by volume of cube. And if you want to calculate it in terms of percentage, then you need to just multiply it by 100. Okay. So these were the three cubic unit cells. Okay. Now let us consider a very important topic in this case, that is planes and directions. So planes and directions in the case of crystals are very important. Okay. So in discussing crystals, it is very important to be able to refer to planes and directions. Okay, within the lattice. Okay. So in order to define the planes and directions, Miller indices are used. Okay, Miller indices are used. So how to get the Miller indices? Now, first of all, in order to get the Miller indices, first of all, we need to set up a coordinate system with origin at the lattice point. Okay. So here in this example, you can see that the coordinate system is set it up. This is a cubic lattice. Okay. So we have defined a coordinate system, that is x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. We have defined it. Okay. So whatever the plane we need to refer in a crystal. Okay. So first of all, we need to find the intercepts of plane with the crystal axis. Okay. So let us consider this example. Here you can see that let we are discussing this plane. We are discussing this plane. Okay. This is the plane that I am discussing. Okay. Now you can see that uh, as x-axis and z-axis. Okay. You can see that x-axis and z-axis are parallel to this plane. So the intercepts of x-axis and z-axis are infinity. In case of y-axis, what is the intercept? That is a. Okay. Or easily, let us consider this plane. This plane. Okay. As you can see that your x-axis. Okay. This plane intercept the x-axis. Okay. At a. A. Okay. Now, y-axis is parallel to this plane. This is your y-axis, and that is parallel. Z-axis is also parallel, so the intercepts are infinity. So, in order to find the Miller indices, okay, first of all, we need to find the intercepts. So, we have find the intercepts. So, intercepts are this. So, just in the form of lattice constants, you need to find. Okay. So, just take the reciprocal. Second step is take the reciprocal of these intercepts. So you will get this. Okay. And now you will convert it in a smallest integer. So smallest integer in that case will be 100. Okay. So smallest integer, if you convert it, that will be 1. Okay. So this plane is nothing but the braces bracket 100. So this plane is 100. Okay. So how we will, so this is the method how we calculate the planes. Okay. Now let us find plane this. What is that plane? Okay. So first step is you need to find the intercepts. So in case of x-axis is parallel to this. So intercept is infinity for x-axis. In case of y-axis is also parallel to this plane. That is also again infinity. In case of z-axis, it is intercepting at A. You can easily see that. Okay. So this is your A. Okay. So these are the three intercepts. Now, if you take the reciprocal, step is take the reciprocal. So if you take the reciprocal of infinity, that will come out to be 0. This will again 0. This will be 1 upon A. Now, you need to convert it into the smallest possible integer. So smallest possible integer in that case will be 0, 0, 1. Okay. If you convert it into smallest integer, that will comes out to be 1. Okay. So this plane is nothing but 0, 0, 1. Okay. Now let's come to the direction of planes. Let's come to the direction. Okay. So let us consider the direction. But before discussing that direction, let me ask you one question. Let us consider we have a plane like this. Okay. And I'm asking you, what plane is this? Okay. In terms of Miller indices, you need to tell. So what plane is this? So first of all, you need to find the intercepts of the plane. So intercept of the plane with x-axis is A. This intercept is nothing but A comma 0 comma 0. This is your 0 comma 0 comma A. This is your intercept is 0 A0. This is nothing but also A. So intercept of this plane are what? This is A, A, and A. Next step is take the reciprocal. That is again 1 upon A, 1 upon A, and 1 upon A. Now next step is convert it into the smallest integer possible. That will comes out to be 1, 1, 1. So this plane is nothing but bracket 1, 1, and 1. Okay. So this is the representation of plane. What will be the equation of this plane? The equation of this plane will be x plus y plus z equal to 1. Okay. Or in general notation, you can see that x upon a plus y upon b plus z upon c equals to 1, where a, b, c are the intercept of the plane along x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis respectively. Okay, so this is how you define the plane. Now let us consider the direction. So if I ask you, what is the direction? What this is nothing but your origin. Okay, so what is the direction corresponding to this? What is the direction corresponding to this? Okay, so this is very simple to find the direction. So what are the coordinates of this point? That is 0, 0, 0. And what is the coordinate of this point? Okay, so in terms of cubic unit cell, so the coordinates here is 1, 0, and 0. Okay. So the direction corresponding to this will be final coordinates minus initial coordinates. So 1 minus 0 is 1, 0 minus 0 is 0, 0 minus 0 is 0. So the direction corresponding to this will be 1, 0, 0. And we use the square bracket in this case. So in the case of directions, we use the square brackets. Okay. Now, if I ask you, what is the direction corresponding to this? So the direction corresponding to this will be 0, 0, 1. What is the direction corresponding to this y-axis? That will be 0, 1, 0. Okay. Now, let me ask you one thing. What is the direction corresponding to the diagonal? Okay. So the diagonal will comes out like this. What is the diagonal here? So what is the coordinate here? That will be 1, 1, 1. Now what is the coordinate here? That is 0, 0, 0. So what is the direction corresponding to this? That is 1, 1 and 1. Okay, with the help of square brackets. Okay, now collection of planes are defined by HKL, that is curly braces. Okay, production are defined by this. So this is a basic introduction of how we define the planes and direction in case of crystals. Okay, so this is all about this lecture. So in this lecture we introduced basic concepts of crystal structures. Okay, thank you.